Boys and girls, your attention, please.
Hello and welcome back inside the Par for May for podcast number 961, the US Grand Prix review. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
AKA Negative Camera. Hey, you know what we do on race review weekends, right? You remember, right?
We watch one, then we talk about it. Then we watch one, then we talk about it. Come on, Todd.
I mean, why wouldn't we talk about it? It's the US Grand Prix, right? Before doing that, though, obviously I have to go find a real professional driver who happens to be the sporting manager of the Aston Martin Heart of Racing team in IMSA, SRO, WEC. It's world domination now.
Rip from out of the wasteland. He's bad, he's beautiful, he's crazy.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Charsley, the International.
It's Paul Vandercharsley. Paul, you got so many Vanda something or others in that series over there. There's so many Dutch. I just figure you could be Dutch. You could be Paul Vandercharsley.
Yeah, I nearly speak as good in English as the Dutch do.
Yeah,
actually.
right. Yeah. Right. Hey, for anybody wondering, so Paul, their SRO team had a race in Indianapolis this weekend. 8-hour race, heavy rain, delayed, red
Very
flagged.
heavy.
Had a good part of the first half, not as great second half, but season is done.
Season's done. My racing season is done.
Yeah.
It was done on Sunday morning because we still had the Hannah's race in the GT4 on Sunday morning.
Right,
but,
right.
Yeah, it was, I'm off.
You're done.
I'm done, although I was already working on Daytona this morning. So that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a little bit of time off. At least I'll be home for more than a couple of days.
Right.
Because we went straight from India. I was home for less than 24 hours. Then I was from Petite. And then, home for less than 24 hours. Then off to, so it's been 2 weeks of solid.
Right.
On the road, traveling at racetracks. Woe is me.
Woe is you.
So,
well,
it was good though.
It's going to get to the point where you're home now. Your wife's going to like, okay, when does racing season start again? Time to get back on the road.
Depending on how long the grass is.
Yeah, right,
yeah,
right.
It's it was a good couple of weeks though. It was a good way to send off the season. We had the great run by the Valkyrie and Petite, and honestly, the GT3 car, if it hadn't been for the stoppage, I think would have been easily on the podium.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of frustrated that the race went the way it did. And then on the GT4 side, the Hannahs did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
They did their best racing of the year. They were super competitive, and they came P4, but their times were right on the pace with the very best. So that was an exciting end for their season too.
Yeah, great season. That's exciting. Yeah. Almost as exciting as the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin, Texas at the Circuit du America.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the crowd?
Yeah, how about the crowd?
That was nuts. That was crazy. I mean, just going into turn one, I mean, just remember thinking all those years back when we went to the first race.
I know.
It was like half full.
I know.
And we were like, oh, this is nice. Yeah. This is a great way to go right now. Nice. It's just like, woo, I don't know about that.
I know. Well, I was very curious about the whole attendance thing. And so in my formation lap here, I wanted to talk about capacity. Okay. Because what was interesting to me, Paul, was the announcement that Apple is going to become the broadcast platform for the U.S. next year. And Domenicali sort of had some quiet conversations about retaining the Drive to Survive fans. And I was curious during the race when they, normally they always post up or Crofty will say, and they'll post the attendance, right? So to say Silverstone, 400,000 or 380,000, whatever, over the weekend, right? And normally they always post that before the race starts for every broadcast. And this time it just popped up and it just said sold out. I thought, well, I wonder, that's interesting. Why would it just say sold out and not a number, right? Yeah. And I thought that's weird because normally they always post, the actual number.
Yeah, it sold out. It was 500,000 people.
Right.
Yeah, you'd always get the number.
Yeah,
you want to big it up, right?
Right. Or you just say sold out if you aren't trying to pick it up, right? If the number wasn't where you were hoping it would be, you might just say, hey, but we were sold out on Sunday, right? or something like that. I know in 2024 we saw 440,000 people over the weekend. And if you consider that the official capacity of the track is 150K, then 450 would be the sold out, right? That'd be 150 for every day.
3 days of sold out. Yeah.
Right. But why wouldn't they say, hey, 450,000? They'd brag about that, right? I just thought that was kind of strange. And they just inked a brand new extension of their contract. They're going to be hosting the US Grand Prix till 2034. I've been around long enough to know if they don't give you a number, it's probably because maybe the number wasn't what they were expecting. I don't know. But then looking, and like you said, watching on TV, that looked like there was a hell of a lot of people there. So I'm not sure.
Unless they were AI.
Yeah. Right. Or like Daytona with the multicolored seats,
4 fingers and 3 heads. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if the total attendance was below last year's, which is 440,000, then maybe they would just say, hey, sold out. But I think that, I don't know, the reason I got all wrapped around the axle on this is because I was really thinking about what Domenicali was saying, the Drive Survive stickiness and trying to keep those, new fans involved in the sport. And they had this explosion of attendance. And I have to assume that it was there or thereabouts. But I did find it interesting because the whole much cherished, demographic cohort is that 18 to 25 that F1 is very keen to tell you they've picked up a large portion of, which is great for the sport. But are they sticking around, right? And I was thinking about that. It could be a little bit of a warning to Apple TV and the choices they make for the content they develop and the commentary team that they actually choose.
Is that confirmed? They're going to actually
I don't know.
Loop into Sky?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll just take Sky's backhaul feed and do that or not. Knowing Apple, they'd want it to be all very Apple. But my concern is you put a bunch of, social media fashion influencers in there, capitalizing on that. I always think,
please.
If before Drive to Survive, you're running 700, 800,000 viewers per race in the States, and now you're running 1.4 million. That's awesome. That's great for Formula One, no doubt about it. But if you go all in for entertainment and, social media, and it turns into a TikTok episode, you're going to alienate 800,000 people pretty quick, trying to keep the 400,000 you picked up. So I don't know.
There was a few of those things popped up, didn't they? And they kind of disappeared very quickly.
Yeah, there were.
Influencers.
Yeah, there were. They kind of went all in.
I remember it. Yeah, it was just like, I'm like, what the hell is this?
I know.
This is to do with Formula One? It's like some guy in a cardigan.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about, but it's good. He doesn't even know who Senna is,
Right.
So,
yeah. It's kind of like, and I don't think that resonates real well. But anyway, sorry. I just found it intriguing that they simply said sold out. And typically, in the past, though, you remember, it's okay. Story time. Ready? Story time. Yeah. Back when the race was first held there, the founding of the circuit, there was a guy named Tavo Hellman who kind of spearheaded that effort, and there's Bobby Epstein, who's the president of the track now. There was a bit of an internal boardroom struggle between Tavo and the other owners, and he ended up, getting ousted. And there was a lot of commentary for that first race and second race. The first race in particular, and I remember at the time I talked to Shell about it and was chatting with some folks at Ferrari about it. What was interesting is there was a lot being made about, well, if Tavo isn't there, it's going to be a total disaster. It won't be successful and blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like, okay, well, let's see what kind of attendance, numbers they throw up on the board, right? And I remember that first year, it took them a little while. They didn't come right out and tell you the attendance, because that was a sensitive topic about how many people, how many butts they put in seats, right? And I thought, so there is a history of COTA sort of keeping their cards close to their vest on announcing how many they have. Why now it would make a difference. I have no idea. But anyway, maybe in time.
And Tavo went on to do the Mexican
Yeah, he
Grand Prix,
did. Yeah.
Is he still doing that?
I don't know if he is or not. I haven't.
That, so.
You know, let me call him real quick. Tavo. Yeah. No, I don't know. So anyway, I just found it interesting that they wouldn't say that. But anyway, back to the track and the characteristics. I'll tell you one thing that I found interesting, Paul, was the tire temperatures were interesting at this track, at how hot the heat ramped up and then cooled down. If you look at Lando's late race move, it was quite a delta in that tire performance. And then when I started compiling my notes and reading what the teams were saying, you know, there were several that were saying they were really struggling with the tires, et cetera, et cetera. And I was thinking, well, you know, thinking from memory that they were, you know, fighting. They were behind, close behind, or a couple seconds behind. And I found it intriguing. You know, Lando backed off quite a ways, cooled the tires down. I was intrigued by the characteristic of this track. And when we get to Alex Albon and Williams, you know, they're saying the heat that this track was at, it made sense for them to start on the hard and run long because they thought they would have grip given how hot the track was, but it wasn't the case at all.
Yeah.
You know? Huh. And so interesting. And you guys have raced there recently, not too long ago. Is there a characteristic about that asphalt, Paul, and the way that it treated your Michelins?
Well, not that I remember because I wasn't there that weekend.
You don't remember anybody in the team bitching about it, though?
No, I mean, it's always a thing you try to get through. There's always a sweet spot that you try and get to, no matter what the track is. You know, places like Brazil are just brutal on the tire. So nothing that I understood, that I heard, but nothing unusual anyway, shall I say. But there's always, you're always trying to get to that sweet spot. And as we found out in Indy, we couldn't find that sweet spot on the Aston last weekend. So, yeah, I mean, it's just always changing. It's about, you know, how the surface is, the temperature, how much everything cools down.
I guess it could have been
into over your race time.
I guess maybe even the mandated tire pressures could have had a little role in that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it mandated pressures and cambers, I think, in Formula One as well as for us, I think, right?
Yeah. So
every car is going to be better or worse with those kind of mandates, for sure.
Yeah. I found it interesting because there were several teams that struggle with that, and least of which McLaren, which you wouldn't have normally expected given McLaren's performance the first half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think the first half of the track is pretty high energy on the tire, and then you got the long back straight, which can cool it down, and then you got the long braking zone, which will heat it right up. So it's not like a consistent thing, so it's probably just dealing with the peaks and valleys of the overall lap.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Well, let's talk about how they finished. We'll go through and review every team as they finish. We'll start off at the sharp end of the grid with Red Bull. Max Verstappen, P1, Yuki Tsunoda, P7. Max basically, Paul, had his foot on the neck at COTA all weekend long with a pole, a sprint win, a pole, a race win for his 7th win on U.S. soil. That's pretty good in his career. He had a good start, led the entire race, shaved 23 points off Piastri's championship lead over the weekend, which is good. Max is now just 40 points behind Oscar, and Red Bull certainly seemed to have made the right improvements and continue to do so. If we were all asking after Monza if that was a one-off bespoke configuration for that type of track, the answer is clearly no. In fact, Paul, he's taken 100 and... I don't know, 100 close.
He was way over 100 behind.
Yeah, he's taken a ton of points.
60, 70 points back.
He's won like 100 and I think this number's right. 100 and is it 169, 199, something like that points out of the possible 133 points in the last 5 races.
Yeah.
So he's almost it would be 133 points. He's taken 109 points maybe out of that. Out of the 100.
Don't get your calculators out.
Yeah,
here.
Let me try to get this calculated. Carry the one, flip the variable. 2,028,028 points. That's what he's got.
Sounds about right. A bunch.
Yeah, out of the 130, 133, you got a lion's share. It was like 109 or something out of that.
Yeah.
In the last 5 races, which is incredible. What was interesting, and the sprint may have given them that opportunity to remedy, though, if you looked at that car on Friday and Saturday, the car looked very loose on Friday and Saturday. The back end, he was really fighting that back end, but not as bad on Sunday. It looked much more hooked up on Sunday. And I think Laurent Mecchi said that they did after the sprint. They went in, made a pretty serious car adjustment and setup that they felt was in the right direction. It looked hooked up, Paul.
Yeah, which McLaren didn't get to do because they weren't running the sprints. Right. But unbelievable what he's done. I mean, it said that those few races ago, do not count Max Verstappen out, and even more so, it gets stronger and stronger every race. I mean, just think, hey, if Oscar has another DNF, and Max wins, the gloves are off all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So, it's very impressive by the team to keep pushing. Probably, I think with their competitors probably went to sleep thinking that was about a wrap. And they've kept pushing on, and rightfully so, and surprisingly so maybe, but they're definitely making the most of these last few races. They found something because they definitely had lost something in the first half of the season, and give Max half a chance, and he's there, and he's starting to just look very calm in front. He's not just trying to somehow wiggle away ahead, but he's actually dominating. Although, that said, with the Red Bull mechanics trying to scupper Lando there for his starting spot,
Tapegate.
That was not a good thing.
That wasn't a good look.
So that is not a good look at all. That's just not what.
And you can't blame Christian Horner for that.
No, and it's just not what you do as a team. Honestly, I mean,
you guys do tape in IMSA, right? Or is that WEC?
No, because you don't do standing starts. Well, we have tape all over the place
for
our boxes and things. Yeah. But you just don't do that to another team. That's over and beyond the competitive nature of a sport, in my mind.
Yeah.
And whether it's done by an individual or it was mandated by the team, I don't know. I can't imagine it being mandated from the very top down, but you don't know.
Come
how far
on,
down
let's
the
beat
line.
up.
Doesn't take much.
Let's beat up Laurent Mecchi's a little bit. He's had it too easy sliding into Christian.
Evil genius. Yeah, he has.
The evil genius that is Laurent Mecchi's.
Yeah, I said I didn't enjoy hearing about that story.
Yeah.
But obviously Red Bull pushing on, and they could be really what takes it out of the McLaren infighting. And then another manufacturer winning, or another driver winning the championship, kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. The conventional wisdom is that with the massive regulation change in 2026, teams have kind of, backed off on development this year and focusing all their efforts and resources really on 2026. So you could say, well, would it be cheeky of Red Bull to know that everybody's going to lift off the throttle for this year, focus on next year? So they double down and start developing even more to cheekily take the Drivers' Championship away from McLaren, knowing that. But then again, the conventional wisdom is if you're developing this late and deep into the season, it could cost you next year. Will it? I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on how they've structured the development of the new car.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, used to be in Formula One when you didn't have a cap.
Yeah.
That you basically had a 2022 team and you had 2023 team.
Yeah.
And they were kind of leapfrogging each other. So one team was always working on next year, while the other team, which had developed the car from the year before, were working on the car they built, right?
Yeah.
And it was this flip-flop thing. And with the cap, I don't think you're allowed to do that, but maybe Red Bull are doing that just a little bit and using some people, some of their bright minds, and let them go full throttle on still developing this car while letting another set of engineering geniuses work on next
Which
year.
is kind of what your friends at Aston Martin are doing, right? They got Adrian Newey 100% has been all year focused on next year's car, while the other team was developing the current car, right? So
we've been trying to sneak pictures of the Valkyrie under his door to see if we can, think of something else that we can do,
Right.
but it keeps getting pushed back. Yeah.
Adrian, here's the Valkyrie. What would you do in the highlighted area? And
I thought we were going out for a curry.
yeah, oh, and P.S. Could you get us some good coil packs, please? Thank you. So that would be good. Yuki Tsunoda, yeah, I agree with Paul. Discount Max at your own risk. He looks very much on the game, very much Max of old. Yuki started P13, made a good recovery drive back into the points for a dual points finish, and it might suggest. Does that tell us anything about Red Bull's car development? Got both, in the points. Yuki's done better too since the upgrades. That's good. I think they've done better than McLaren the last, or is it really just a good weekend for Yuki?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it's carrying on from better performances from him, so I think it does show something for the car. Yuki's reaping the benefits here.
Yeah,
I think it's a little too late for him to save his drive. Obviously.
Yeah, it's a day late, no, short. Yep.
Yeah. I think he was lucky to still get that. I think he probably should have been penalized for his move.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I was surprised that the stewards didn't even take a look at that, Paul.
Yeah, I was very surprised too, because not only did he move under braking, he moved in response, and so they're two whole things that I would think deserved a look at least, and I think it was a very late twitch by Yuki, which kind of sent Behrman off, and he was lucky to keep going and still score points. But I would have fully expected, as they make decisions these days, that would have been definitely penalty worthy.
I do too. Ali was running for P7, not P9.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree. Max said, we got a good start on the first stint, and Charles got in the middle of myself and Lando, which helped a lot. And as soon as Lando was in clean air, he was very fast. So a lot of people frustrated with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc for denying us what may have otherwise been an epic battle between Lando and Max. But that don't confront Charles none. That was the strategy.
He don't care.
He couldn't care less. Yuki, ever the positive Yuki, said, I've scored points in both races this weekend, so overall the weekend was positive.
Ooh, maybe you should get a T-shirt made.
I scored points. That would be a good shirt. Let's talk about Grace's favorite team, McLaren. Lando Norris, P2, Oscar Piastri, and P5. We'll start with Lando. This is purely woulda, shoulda, coulda comment. But I am kind of curious why McLaren didn't split the strategies and maybe start Lando or Oscar on softs. I mean, then again, maybe the lack of running in the sprint didn't really reveal that option to them as much as it did for, say, Ferrari or Aston Martin, who did start a car on softs.
I think there's an answer to that. Is that if they can no longer split strategies on these guys, because one's going to get the better strategy.
It's papaya rules, Paul.
It's papaya rules. They literally cannot split strategies now because someone's going to be miffed.
So now Zach has hemmed himself into a corner with his own papaya rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. Yeah, that may be the case. Lando got jumped at the start by a soft shod Leclerc, and Charles became a bit of a bottleneck for Lando from that point on, most of the race actually, and Lando eventually got past Charles, but not after running off track 3 times and getting a black and white flag in the effort. And by that time, Max was 10, 11 seconds down the road. Once he did box for fresh, put him behind Charles again, Charles had to try to pass. Lando tried to let me try this in English, shall I? Once boxed for fresh, Lando had to try to pass Charles again, and this proved a lot more difficult than I thought it may have been because Charles was on medium tires, although
older
medium tires, although they were certainly completely on song at that point. And Lando came out on softs, and so kind of what we've seen all year long, though, Paul. The McLarens run well in clean air, but behind those other cars, not as well. And as he closed in, got in DRS range, those softs, quickly overheated, and so he had to back off quite a ways, let them cool down, let the carcass, as Will Joseph said. Once the carcass cools down, then we'll go after him again, and that's exactly what he did. He fought back, got past Charles, and finished in P2. Might have been an interesting race had Lando been able to hold P2 at the start, as Max suggested that his pace wasn't that much different than Lando's. But nonetheless, he did reduce the points deficit to Oscar to just 14 points. So he's moving in the right direction, is Lando. But if Max is going to continue to take 25 points off the table, Lando has to make sure that he just finishes behind Max and no less. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. You also have the occasional George Russell nipping points off of McLaren and the occasional Ferrari nipping points off of McLaren. It should get very interesting.
Yeah, the 3-horse race really throws a wrench in McLaren's plans.
Yeah.
I mean, and the mentality of all the Max's mentality is just one, right? Just win, keep winning. But those two guys don't just have to beat each other. They now can't just finish third and fourth and beat each other and fight for that. They can't play it that safe, because every time they play it safe, Max is going to beat them.
Yeah.
So they've got to really kind of push hard, and they have to try and beat Max, which gives them an advantage. If they can beat Max and get Max between either one of each other, then that's a benefit, right?
Right.
So it's going to make for a great finish here. But Lando, obviously the strategy from the softs from the Ferrari kind of scuppered Lando at start there, and it took him nearly till the end of the race before he can actually get around the Ferrari, right, with the strategy. So the tire temperature, inner carcass, outer carcass, whatever, is definitely sensitive, and it took him a while once he said the tires were toast, and it's kind of like that graining period that we used to see, right? So and then you have to get through it. The car's going to slide around a little bit, but you just have to kind of calm down and wait for the tire to come back to you, which is very interesting actually if you drive it as a racing driver, and I've had that happen to me, in a stint, and it's really crazy how a tire can feel like it's literally destroyed, and then you just 2 laps later it feels great again.
That's bizarre. Yeah,
it is weird, and when you get to know a tire and you live with that tire and you test with that tire a lot, it becomes you can be a little more patient with it. But when it's something new, it's like you don't even know where that came from. So it took him a while to kind of get that inner carcass temperature down, so that then he could then start pushing again. It seemed like, because he fell nearly 3 seconds behind, I think.
Yeah.
But once it switched back on, it really switched on, and he was able to make a lot of pace and catch very quickly up to Charles. And then took him a couple of goes, because Charles is a feisty character to get by, but he finally did. And by that time, literally, the race was over for him to catch Max.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Yeah, exactly. His teammate, tough weekend, hitting Lando in the sprint. And Zach was like, oh, yeah, Nico's junior league driving. And it was like, did you watch what I mean, Nico had nowhere to go. It wasn't Nico's fault.
He had nowhere to go.
And, by come Sunday morning, then you had the Sky Sports, crew all saying, yeah, that was pretty much on Oscar, that was his fault.
Yeah.
So, but the big question is, and I appreciate one of the guys on Sky Sports asking Zach this, it was that, okay, well, clearly having seen the results, Zach said, well, yeah, it wasn't Nico. I've amended that. That wasn't Nico. And then they're like, all right, well, the obvious question is, you had a teammate hit another teammate. What's the repercussions? I mean, Lando walked into this weekend telling everyone that would listen that there were repercussions for him hitting Oscar the last race. So now Oscar hit him. Are there repercussions? Zach's like, you want to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well, is it papaya
probably
rules?
just picking up it's probably just picking up the restaurant bill.
Yeah, right. So what were, and everybody was done, and okay, what were those, quote, repercussions Lando had from the last race? And will Oscar face those? So anyway, fun. But anyway, he made up a spot at the start really seemed to struggle for grip on his front left, was in pretty bad shape. He radioed in on that first stint. Then, like Lando, the car and the tires just didn't like following traffic at all. And, it's just not.
Does that sound familiar to you? Do you remember the old days with the Merc dominance?
Yeah.
They were so used to qualifying on the front row, they didn't even know how to follow it.
Right,
car,
and they were not good behind another car.
No.
Oscar's been off the boil of late, Paul. He needs to do well in Mexico. There's only 14 points between him and his teammate, and you could argue that the pressure's adding up for this normally calm driver. He said it was a bit of a tricky race, similar to yesterday. I was struggling for pace. We gained one spot, which was positive, but it was hard to make any progress from there. Not quite sure. He just wasn't comfortable. He didn't have a lot of confidence in that car all weekend long.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a bad run of 3 races for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not what I expected from him at all. I expected the further the season on, the higher the pressure, Oscar's calm demeanor would be an asset. But it seems behind that calm demeanor, maybe he's too calm, that he's starting not to lose the plot a little bit. And unexpectedly, Lando is kind of making. I'm not sure Lando's doing anything different, but I think it's, he's looking obviously better and stronger, outpacing Oscar, because I think Oscar is kind of getting a little bit of the yips or something, and right. It's painful to see. Was it at Baku? He said, "Well, I'm just a human being," which is fine, those statements, but just he seemed more robotic and very much in control, and he still seems that on the outside, but on the inside, and the performance he's putting seem to definitely sway you to think he's really struggling with the pressure of trying to win a world championship.
Yeah, it may be. I wouldn't have expected it either, but I'm just not quite sure I have an alternate answer to why he's had difficult last 3 races, and I don't know. Clearly off the pace of Coda.
And I think McLaren, with their obvious shutdown of development, is forcing them to have to fight with people that they wouldn't have had to fight with, right? They would normally have been on the front row, they'd be working with each other, but now a bad day is a 5th or 6th place, not just 1st or 2nd.
Yeah. I said, early on in the season, this, could end up like Braun 2009. Everybody laughed at me, but I feel like that's kind of where we are.
It's
it's
getting close to it.
Where it's just, you had a big haul of points in the first half of the season, stopped development, and now all of a sudden you've got a real race on your hands. You got Max, breathing down your neck. You got George on the odd race winning races. You've got Charles now on podium. All these teams are going to be taking points off of you. And forget Max for a minute. Just note Max, Charles, and George. Given track-specific performances, any one of those 3 drivers will take the win away from him. So as far as the battle between Charles and Lando, this is 14 points is scant few points, and I think one of the let's be, Oscar clearly has a comfortable points lead. I don't think he does at all.
I don't know. He definitely does not. As I said, Max throws a spanner in the works for any being comfortable.
Yeah.
He's not driving comfortably.
No, it's not a comfortable lead, because any one of those drivers I mentioned could be taking a lot of points off of the table. That there's not a big enough delta between the two. One
DNF, one mistake, you lost championship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's talk about Ferrari. Charles Leclerc P3, Lewis Hamilton P4. We'll start with Charles. Charles and Ferrari got the strategy right. He started on the softs, jumped Lando, and from there really did a pretty good job of holding the McLaren off for as long as he could. Did a great job, I think, also, Paul, keeping those softs in good shape. We talked about those tires heating up a lot when you're behind cars, but because Max was, 6-10 seconds down the road, there wasn't a car right in front of him. So making those softs last as long as he could, running deep, trying to wait for a gap in that traffic that they could box him into. I just think, Ferrari takes it on the chin a lot about their strategy, but they nailed it this weekend with Charles.
Absolutely.
He started the weekend on the back foot. He said, look, we were just really on the back foot Friday. turned everything around for Sunday. I think the sprint was very helpful for them in setting that car up, moving in the right direction. It was his first podium since Belgium, and a well-earned result, even if he did prevent the Max v. Lando battle everyone was hoping to see. But a great run for Ferrari and Charles.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Really, really good. I mean, his management of the tyre in that situation, it was important for him to get ahead of Lando, for sure, so he could control, the conservation of the tyre, which the other cars that jumped to the softs, not including Max, didn't have that because everyone was running behind Charles or somebody else. So, it was crucial that he made that tyre last way longer than anyone expected. That kind of helped the other teams make the decision to go to soft. But the damage was done at that point, or his advantage was already made at that point. And then he did an equally good job on the medium, right? I mean, he had 10 laps older on an older tyre, but he still managed to hold on for a very, very, very long time. Made life very hard for Lando. And so, for all the quirks we say about Charles, and he does make mistakes, probably more than most. This wasn't one of those weekends, and not one of those weekends where Ferrari made a mistake. They dotted the I's across the T's on that strategy and executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I thought they did too. He kind of had Lando to the point where he's a black and white flag, one more, and it was a penalty. And that kind of goes back to talk about Lando. He knew he had, he couldn't run wide, and he didn't. Cleaned everything up, which was a good point of him. But I think, Charles is a great performance. And yes, I've given him some shtick about unforced errors. But hold that thought, because I'll get back to unforced errors later in this review. We'll talk about intrigue. It could be. What's Todd going to talk about?
Controversy.
It's going to be controversy, Paul. Let's talk about Lewis. Lewis just typically does well at COTA. He just resonates with this track. I just think he does really well. I think he likes this track a lot, the layout. I think he likes the American fans. He started on the mediums, ran well, didn't seem quite to have the sheer pace to take the battle to Lando or Charles. Really started to struggle towards the end there. He felt good about his first stint, said the second stint just didn't have the pace really to challenge at that point. It's interesting because Fred said that they worked hard on the tires, Paul, from Friday, and if you didn't have it right, he said you could lose 5 or 6 tenths, and that kind of comports with what we saw. So that when I talked about the tires and the tire heat they were developing and how much time you could lose running behind cars, 5 or 6 tenths is huge in F1. And if that's what Ferrari were experiencing on Friday and a little bit in the sprint, then I would say Ferrari did a better job than even what I'm giving them credit to cure that issue.
And Lewis was just he wasn't far off.
No, he wasn't.
But just far off enough.
Just slightly.
And obviously different strategy. That's kind of the way it played out, and that's really what leaped Charles into the position he ended up being anyway. So maybe it was just not necessarily the pace of each driver compared to each other, but just the pace of each strategy chosen. It was interesting, a little battle between them right before Charles's in-lap. And I'm not sure that was going to be Charles's in-lap, but I think Ferrari made a good call in making it Charles's in-lap. Because that didn't seem.
I thought the exact
like
same
that
thing.
Was a necessary thing.
Did they really box him, or did they see that unfolding and say, "Okay, just box him, get him out of Lewis's way"?
Yeah. Because that was a little silly. Both of them losing time, right? And every tenth was crucial to be able to try and stay ahead of Lando. So, either tell Lewis he's boxing this lap, just wait 3 more corners, or whatever. But
tell Charles to get out of the effing way.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, I thought that was a little goofy. If there's one little hiccup over the weekend, I think that was kind of it. But otherwise, good weekend for Ferrari and a good points haul. I think only leaves them 4 points behind Mercedes in Constructors' Championship. So a lot to play. And as I constantly say, one position is worth tens of millions of dollars to these teams. So a lot to play for Ferrari and Mercedes. Speaking of, Mercedes, George Russell, P6, Kimi Antonelli, P13. George lost a spot to Hamilton and Piastri at the start, and from 6th, that's pretty much where he finished. He said, I kind of felt like how we how we end up after turn 1 is kind of how the race is going to finish for us, and that's what happened. George looked like he might be able to make a run at Piastri, but as he got close, his tires started fading. And, there again, the tire issue and the heat of the track. We know Matt Merck kind of likes cooler temps, cooler weather, didn't find it in Austin and finished down at P6.
Yeah, it was a nondescript race for the Mercedes, who've been pretty feisty up until this point, right? You had a good qualifying for sure.
Yep.
But just kind of fell back into the place that car had a pace, and George didn't go above and beyond, but he didn't lose any. Kimi's another story unto itself, though, I suppose.
Well, he had a tough race with Carlos Sainz, who torpedoed him, sending him off into the gravel. He managed to keep it going, though, despite being in last place. He continued on that same strategy. Once he did stop for fresh, though, he did manage to claw his way back up to P13. I thought it was a decent drive back as a recovery drive goes. Kimi said, I tried to leave some space for Carlos at turn 15. I saw him coming. I managed to do so, but we still made contact, and that put an end to any realistic chance of scoring good points today.
Yeah, it was in because I looked at it and I'm like, well, you kind of knew what that he was there, and you kind of gave him half a car width, but half a car width isn't enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you're either going to give him the room, or you're gonna block the grab out of him, but you can't half-heartedly give him room. And Carlos was 2/3 the way alongside, and obviously with Kimi turning in as sharply as he did, even though he's saying he knew he was there, Carlos couldn't actually turn any more harder to the left. So if Kimi knew he was there, I think Kimi was kind of 50% at fault on this one, honestly. Because of his knowledge that Carlos was there. So you either make sure he doesn't get inside you, but if he does get inside you, you gotta allow yourself to be able to fight to the next corner and not just trying to think, well, it's my corner really, so and chop across, because they both ended up losing in that place.
Yeah, they do. So soon we're talking about Kick Sauber. That's impressive. Gabriel Bortoleto, P18. Nico Hulkenberg, P8. Let's start with Gabby first. Gabby had a tough race. Had that clash with Albon early on, and then effectively two-stopping to solidify his strong place at the back of the grid in P18. Possibly, Paul, a missed opportunity by not stopping under the VSC, maybe? I don't know if that would have helped him.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. It's a free stop, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I feel like had
he'd
have finished better than P18, maybe. Whether he'd get the points or not, I doubt it. But
yeah. But at least you're not lost.
Yeah.
You don't want to be lost.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, actually, Gasly was lost, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yikes.
Handed to him by his teammate. Yes.
Quite a tussle for the last places on the.
Yeah. Nico looked good all weekend, didn't he? Great qualifying, great sprint qualifying, good pace in that car. Wasn't quite sure why Gabby wasn't thereabouts. Had good pace all weekend. Got punted at the sprint, which Zach blamed him for, but later recanted. Wasn't his fault. In the race on Sunday, though, got a really good start past Ali when Ali ran wide, got dirt all over his tires. Ali spun, got back on. Nico pounced on him, picked up P8.
Yeah.
Great race for Nico. Great points finish for the team.
Yeah, it was good, and he kind of needed it, right? Bortoleto, he's been kind of getting his number over the past few races, and it was like, what happened to Hulkenberg?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't really think anything's happened to Hulkenberg. He's pretty much a consistent guy. His pace and his performances don't ebb and flow just from him. There must have been something within the team or the car or whatever, missing something.
Yeah.
But, Hulkenberg's a strong driver. So, it was great to see him get a little bit of comeback on his team.
Yeah. If he hangs the helmet up, I think you and Ian need to get him in that Valkyrie.
Oof, happily.
Yeah, that would be good. So if you're listening, Nico, I know you do. There you go. Yeah. Call Paul. And when you give up on Audi, he'll get you in the Valkyrie.
1-800-Valkyrie.
Yeah. Let's see. Haas, Esteban Ocon, P15, Ali Behrman, P9. We'll start with that. So I feel kind of sorry for Esteban. They started him on hard compound. which was so not the strategy. And leaving the team to the point so much the team come on the radio and apologize for getting it horribly wrong to him. Felt bad for Esteban. He had a really good start, but whatever he gained at the start, he just immediately lost in the next lap or two. Just no grip on those hards. He said they made some aero changes to be better on the straights, but it cost him in a lot of other areas. And he said, given Ollie's pace, he was, I think basically at this point, Paul, Esteban was nursing a pretty bad strategy all the way to the end.
Yeah, not much you can do about that, and sometimes you roll the dice there. I think it's when in these sprint race weekends, you still a lot of guessing going on, even though you've done a race. You don't get the chance to come in, try this tire, do this.
Yeah,
you basically just got a race, and so you are behind the 8 ball on knowing all you need to know for the big race.
Yeah. Better race for Ollie. He had his moments, had a good weekend going. Tried to pass Yuki. The Red Bull driver moved under braking, sending Ollie into the dirt, spun, recovered with dirty tires, lost a spot to Nico, settled for P9 for the second race in a row, P9, so another 2 points. It's a shame because he was racing for P7. And again, he was not happy with Yuki at all.
No, I wouldn't be either.
And I understand Yuki's driving for his career, but I feel like I was just surprised the stewards didn't even look at it, to be honest with you. Here's what he said regarding the incident with Yuki. I felt it was very dangerous and against the spirit of the regulations. Although I avoided the crash, I lost 2 positions, so it's a shame, and it's disappointing as it's clear I had more pace today.
Yeah, I mean, he was a P7 for sure. And that's really important for him because in his battle against his teammate, he's still behind in points.
Yep.
I think Bierman is the better driver in the team, but everyone wants to have that proved in the standings, right? And I think he's fighting really hard to try and claw that back and at least to beat his teammate in the point standings, which I think he deserves. Really.
Yeah, I do too. Just to unpack a little bit about Ollie, I think Ollie's doing a pretty darn good job. I know he gets overshadowed by Hadjar and Antonelli and even Gabby, who's had sort of a mid-season surge and everything. I hate to take it. He's had his ragged rookie moments, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And there's some, things he's done that's, kind of a racecraft issue or kind of boneheaded. But, look, he's a rookie. A lot of the rookies do. Kimi just went through a bit of a lull, had his moments. So it happens for rookies. But on balance, I think Ollie's been doing all right.
No, I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. He's in a lesser team. Hadjar's team is probably a better car, better team, race to race to race.
Yeah.
And he's been doing a great job of it. But Bierman, I think, once again, if you can show up and bring a spot of life to your team versus what your other teammates doing, that means you are doing something out there, and it should be noticed.
And he's going to have those moments as a rookie of ambition over adhesion. You kind of expect that. But he's honing some racecraft here, folks. I think he's doing right. All right, Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso P10, Lance Stroll P12. Fernando had a lumpy start, dropped out of the top 10. Then when Antonelli and Sainz collided, it gave him an opportunity to climb back into the points, nip that final point in P10. He said that it felt like that he had more performance and quality than he did the race. He said, we were open to different strategies in the end, but it was just a one-stopper. So nothing really to report home to from Fernando's side.
Not really. Scoring points is good, but they're at least, I guess they're averaging a little better than they did the first half of the season.
Seems like it to me.
And they do have high points, but it's very racetrack dependent on whether they're going to go well or not.
Yeah, clearly. Lance recovered from a bad sprint. Took out Esteban Ocon during the sprint. That was a bit of a move from Lance. That just was not on.
No.
He did have a moment with Bortoleto and Albon at the start, but to Lance's credit, once he got through the start, he did have some good overtakes and managed to make his way back up to P2. He was hoping to try to get into the points. I didn't quite get there. He said today was a fun race. We made our way through the race, attacking with some good overtakes and picked up a couple of positions. We were closing to getting to the points, but it was always going to be tricky from where we started. We did the best we could.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
He did go through them. Yes, we did. Yeah. He did do a decent job getting through the field. But by that point, he was already, his tires were done.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, and Alonso's not going to let him.
No, Alonso wasn't going to let that in.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. So, let's see. Racing Bull, Liam Lawson P11, Isaac Hadjar P16. Start with Liam. Liam had a decent weekend, challenging Alonso for P10. But it was interesting because he lost a spot at the start. Had he not done that, he may have been in the points. He looked pretty racy, and he was closing in Alonso. But even in the DRS, his tires just looked like they were fading. He just couldn't get around. That left him down at P11. I just wonder if that wasn't sort of a thing. You get that close, and the tires start to heat up, and the grip just isn't there.
Yeah, I mean that's a normal proceedings, right?
Yeah,
but
he did manage to keep Stroll behind him, though.
Yep, and his teammate.
And
his
teammate.
That's important. Right, that's
Yeah.
Literally, that's his battle right now. Hadjar's going to go to Red Bull. He's the benchmark of what Red Bull want. So Lawson needs to be ahead of him if he can, but definitely right on his butt if he can't.
Well, yeah, and it's not even really him and hoping to get another shot in the Red Bull seat over Hadjar. It's him keeping his place at Red Bull or racing
in Formula One. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. Isaac had a crash in qualifying. That was nice. So this left a lot of work to do starting from the back. Like Esteban, he started on the hard tire too. Obviously, we found out that wasn't the right strategy. That was going to be a difficult task. Effectively, Paul, his self-inflicted wound on qualifying was compounded by a strategy that was really on the back foot, leaving him down in P16. He said there's a few things... What does he say? There's a few things we need to understand with the car. We've been strong most weekends this year, but we had a ride issue that we need to figure out and make sure it doesn't happen again. He got a little petulant over the radio this weekend. He almost sounded Yuki S.
Ugh,
yeah.
I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Something to do with the car. Every time I hit the barrier, it falls to pieces.
Yeah, I don't know why the nose fell off.
What the hell, guys?
You trying to hurt me?
Fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know everybody, Hadjar's done a great job this year, had some great performances and all that. I just I don't know. There's that something that makes you wonder if he gets in that other seat against Max Verstappen. I think Max will absolutely eviscerate him, and just emotionally, I wonder if he can handle that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, there's sometimes there's a way to behave, as I always say.
Yeah.
The best drivers are generally very, good at getting the team around you rather than just talking like a petulant child.
Yeah.
And when they have those outbursts, it makes me cringe.
Yeah, me too.
You just want to go, okay, Box.
Yeah, Box.
We're done.
Get out of the car.
Go home. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's see. Williams, Alex Albon, P14. Carlos Sainz, the DNF. Alex had another P14, second in a row. He started also on the hards, clashed with Bortoleto and spun at the start, had to mount a recovery drive back from there. Alex said that they started on the hards because, as I mentioned at the lead-in, that because they thought it would be a good strategy because how hot the track was, but they struggled for grip with the hards. It just didn't come in for him. He said we actually had good pace, but it was a bit scrappy at times, and we just weren't clicking in the corners. Couldn't find the grip.
Yeah, it was probably an opportunity lost this weekend, right?
Yeah.
With the Sainz issue, with the incident, and then
Yeah.
him. Yeah, if they had the pace, which obviously Sainz kind of showed they had good pace.
Agreed.
They're probably not very happy with themselves.
Yeah. Carlos, hero on Saturday, zero on Sunday with that ill-advised move on Antonelli, but you ascribed it as a 50-50, and Carlos may agree with you because here's what he said about it. He said, I had done a similar move on Behrman some laps before, so I tried the inside line with Antonelli into turn 15. He opened the line and then closed the door more abruptly than what I was expecting. I tried to react by slamming on the brakes to avoid the contact, but it was too late and we touched, end quote.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Is that how you saw it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you can't half-heartedly open the door and then not leave the door open because you're both going to end up with a broken nose, which they ended up doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and back to Albon. Obviously, he put himself in that position with that alternate strategy just because of the track limits in the qualifying.
Yeah, right.
All these like Hadjar crashing.
Yep.
The track limits on the track. These are all mistakes the driver makes, and they have to suffer the consequences. Sometimes.
Yeah. Good point. Yep, that's true. Carlos is one of those guys. I give Charles Leclerc a lot of a hard time about unforced error, but Carlos kind of has those too, Paul. You know what I mean?
He does.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this. Okay, it worked on Behrman, but he's a veteran on this deal. You're up against a rookie in Antonelli. Did you think he was going to make it easy? He's a rookie. He's 19 years old. Would you really make that move, or would you just kind of check up and have a measured more move that you could land? He should know.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough move to make, and if you go inside, you've got to get through before they can turn in.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Don't give them a chance to turn in on you.
Yeah.
But you're right. Carlos doesn't really make mistakes on his own, so to speak. I don't think like Leclerc does,
true.
but he definitely seems to make passing mistakes that end up in collisions.
Yeah.
More often than some.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And finally, Alpine, Pierre Gasly, P19, Franco Pinto, P17. Pierre said they were just simply too slow. He had a slow pit stop coupled with a slow car. That dropped him towards the back. Late in the race, he was passed by his own teammate, Franco Colapinto, which is the big controversy coming out of this weekend. He was managing...
Everyone's talking about it.
I know, including the team. They were managing fuel levels. Apparently, they were low on fuel levels, and that's why he was going so slow. And Franco was like, "He's so slow." And he's like, "Yeah, well, we're managing the pace on fuel levels." Franco goes and turns to the hell with this. I'm driving for my life here. So he dove down the inside of Pierre, made the pass, finished in P17. Ignoring team orders, and he said that the reason he did that is because Gabriel was attacking and he wanted to keep Gabby behind both the Alpines, so he had to jump in front of Pierre. So
right, it was all about the team.
It was a team move.
Yeah. I don't know his financial situation with the team, how much he's paying or sponsorship or whatever he's bringing, but he is fighting for a slot, even if it isn't Alpine.
Right.
So I can see why you do that.
Yeah.
They do that because, just towing the line behind that, if the team's going to discard you anyway, why not? But it could also end his season sooner than the end of the season, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a shame.
The team chose to.
I think Colapinto's maybe done with F1 for next year anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be very surprised.
He had a lot of momentum.
Yeah, when he was
and
in
then
Williams.
all of a sudden that went away.
Sure
it was like he's going to Red Bull. Well, Red Bull won him, but then he ended up making another appearance, and everyone was like, maybe not so special.
It's one of those deals, Paul, where he was in the Williams, which wasn't a half bad car, and he was able to do pretty well and kind of get everybody excited.
Yeah, he did some great performances
he
when he first jumped in. Yeah.
But then you get into Alpine, which is like a greased pig apparently, and it's done nothing but basically, destroy his career.
Yeah.
So while you're chomping at the bit and you'll take every chance you can to get in an F1, maybe this is one he should have passed on, waiting for a better car. I don't know, but this could be the nail in his coffin.
Well, it's hard because you want to be in Formula One, but then when you jump into a very mediocre team, you end up being at the back of the line.
Yeah.
If you jump in a Red Bull and you're mediocre, you should be. Fifth or sixth or seventh, and everyone's like, "Wow, you're scoring points every weekend. Well done," But it's it's just where that performance of your car puts you overall, and what is even possible,
right?
And the car is so bad that it just makes him look maybe worse than he is. I don't know, and Gasly we know is very good.
Yeah.
And it can be a career killer for sure. Yeah.
Very tough situation for him. All right, well, let's hand out some awards. We tend to do that. We always start off with Move of the Race.
Seriously, Todd?
Yes, seriously. We tend to like certain moves during the race. It doesn't always have to be a pass. It can be anything, any move during the race. Paul, what was your move of the race?
My move of the race was the tire strategy from Ferrari, and executed by one Charles Leclerc. I thought that was the move of the race.
Yeah.
That everyone then reacted to, but he caught him napping.
Yep.
And Charles Leclerc nearly got a second place out of it, but he definitely got a podium out of it. So well done.
I like it.
Well done, everybody.
Well done. I agree. I had Leclerc and Lando at the softs. Yeah, the strategy. That was it. Same thing.
Yeah.
It was a good move. And that brings up, oh yeah, donkey of the race. Why wouldn't it?
We'll do it live.
You got it. Donkey of the race. It's a shitbox, Paul. What'd you have?
Well, it hurts me. Much like when you give Ferrari the donkey of the race award. And I think it's really donkey of the weekend, and we got to give it to Oscar.
Oh, that hurts.
I mean, from the sprint race to the main race, it is just not a championship winning driver performance or choices, should we say. So he needs to get back to the Oscar. I think is really there, and hopefully it's not the pressure. Hopefully it's just a little blip, but not great by Oscar. He's got some turning around to do before Miami, which is coming up quickly.
Yeah, that's tough. I gave it to our friend.
Who? Who gets a penalty? Me? Are you joking? You're joking. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my life.
It is. I think Carlos should know better. He had such a good weekend on the podium for the sprint. Should have done well in the race, and just diving down the inside of a rookie. I don't know. I think he should have known better. That was not good.
Yeah.
That leaves one award left. Oh, yes. We know what that is.
It's in there, Lewis. Get down.
You got it. Drive of the race. I think I picked the same as the rest of the world.
Yeah, and I changed my mind.
Whoa. Did you give it to Carlos?
No. Guess again.
You gave it to Lando.
No.
All right.
No, I gave it to Max.
That's a good shout, Paul.
I mean, pure
dominated the whole
domination.
week. How could you not?
We never even saw him.
I know.
I mean, Red Bull, they're paying what to be in to be in the series.
Yeah.
And I think they were just there at the start on the first corner, and then we saw him coming in at the finish line. After that, we didn't see.
He might as well have been a wag, because the broadcast didn't show any wives and girlfriends the whole weekend. So, yeah, he might as well.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
No, that's a good shout. I mean, how can you not give it to Max? He just dominated the entire weekend. Dominated. I mean, he just looked, imperious. It was an incredible weekend. But I got to give it to my boys over at Ferrari. I think Charles had a great race, and to pull that strategy off, Ferrari nailed the strategy. Charles nailed it, drove wonderfully, held Lando off. Lando was breathing down his neck. I think he had a lot of pressure on him and drove a great race. So, but I agree with you. I think Max just looked imperious. He was just incredible. All right. Yeah. Well, Paul, we don't have time to mess around, because the Mexican Grand Prix is this coming weekend. So we're going to be back talking about that elevation and the lack of oxygen and what impact that has on it. We're going to be talking about all that.
It's a weird weekend.
Yeah, all that same crap.
Practice one is like the weirdest practice of the lot.
It is.
That's why they bring in all their reserve drivers for practice one in Mexico, because it means literally nothing.
Yeah. I know. I know.
It's like they're cleaning the parking lot basically with the Formula One car.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And then you get all the outfits, and it's a different world.
Yeah, the outfits.
Yeah, it's a different race.
But hey, at least I get to celebrate it with one of my favorite cuisines. So I get to celebrate all week long.
Yeah.
Mexican.
Well, you're gonna have Taco Tuesday in celebration, so there you go.
How can you not?
Or as you call it,
Taco Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Taco Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
Maybe throw in an enchilada. I don't know.
Right. It's meat and cheese, 8 different ways.
It's
Great. Love it. I love some good Mexican. Although, I can't deal with cilantro. It's just a gag. If I even taste it, it's like, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I love it.
I know. And my wife loves it. And in true American fashion, I've eaten Mexican my whole life, but when cilantro got hot, they put cilantro in everything. Everything. Yeah. And then I was talking to one of my colleagues in Mexico City. I said, wait a minute, all right, real, authentic Mexican cuisine, right? Not the American. Do you guys put cilantro in everything? And they're like, no. I said, yeah, I didn't think so. but up here, you go to a restaurant, and you say, why is there? Oh yeah, cilantro is. It's a staple of Mexican cuisine. Great. It's like, well, is it really? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, let us know what you guys think about this race. You can go to theparkformay.com, share your opinion. Just do it to quorum civility. As always, a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters, because we could not and would not do this podcast without you. And thank you for the few of you who signed up this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very, very grateful for your support. I know I'm sounding like a telethon here, but we lost quite a few.
Didn't we say we were going to do a telethon?
We should. In the off season, we should do a telethon, right? Maybe you could win a dream dinner with Grace and her husband in D.C. when you're in town or something. But
that's right. Or I'll go down to the local church and I'll do the where you throw the ball at somebody and they go
the water
in
tank.
the splash thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Maybe I could find some swag that I've got. I could give away. Maybe. But anyway, a huge thank you because we need to up our Patreon supporter account, and a few of you very, very graciously listened and signed up this week. It means a lot to us, folks. So thanks so much for doing that. If you like the podcast, go and give us a good rating on the podcast. Share it. A lot of you consume the podcast or the video on YouTube and all that, but you're not sharing it. So go out there and spread the love, spread the word. That's another way. I got a video on Instagram that's got 450,000 views. All right, go share that. So that would be great.
Is it a Formula One?
It is Formula One. Yeah. It's Lance wrecking Esteban.
Oh, the Lancelot.
Yeah. So anyway, if you don't follow us on Instagram, you can do that. Look for Park for May on Instagram and TikTok. We're on both, and Twitter. But anyway, or X, sorry. Anyway, until next weekend, we will come back, Paul and I. We will review the Mexican Grand Prix. Until that time, we will see you next week. This is Negative Gamer saying so long. I'm trying to say so long. I'm trying to play the soundbite, Paul.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
Waiting.
Game over.